To say the Knicks season was a total disaster would be a huge understatement.
In the interest of full disclosure, ESPN Radio in New York City is the flagship station for the New York Knicks, and I'm still telling you, they stink!
But if there's one thing us Knicks fans have to look forward to, it's the NBA draft. In the last video, I talked about the top prospects that the Knicks should get with their lottery pick. That included guys like Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. But the Knicks currently also own the 27th pick in the draft this season, which they got in a trade. That means the Knicks should also be looking at prospects that'll be available around in that late first round pick range. The draft in itself is already a crapshoot, but with the outbreak of COVID-19, the drafting process this year is going to be even harder. Due to the outbreak, there may not be an NBA draft combine. The combine really helps teams to evaluate talent because the combine measures these athletes' height, wingspan, strength, and athleticism, along with getting them to scrimmage against the other prospects. Teams also aren't allowed to do individual workouts with these prospects. They can only do a virtual interview. Workouts are how a lot of players' draft stock rise because teams get to see their abilities in person. It's going to be very hard for the Knicks to choose who they should take with the Clippers pick that they own, which currently projects at the 27th pick. Hell, even the pick isn't certain, because if the NBA regular season resumes, that could probably change the Clippers' ranking in the NBA standings. But it's safe to say that the pick will probably end up in the 25 to 30 range. So, who should the Knicks take with the Clippers pick in the upcoming NBA draft? In this video, we're going to take a look at the top 5 prospects that the Knicks should be targeting in that late first round pick range. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel so I can make more awesome videos like this. Now let's get right to it. Now there's actually a lot of prospects that the Knicks should be considering in this range, but out of all of them, I think that these are the top 5 prospects that could be available when it's the Knicks' turn to choose. Number 5. The number 5 prospect that the Knicks should be targeting with their late first round pick is Trey Jones. Trey Jones is a point guard who played for Duke University for 2 years. Jones is generously listed at 6'3", but really, he's more like 6'1". Trey Jones is ranked 33rd on ESPN's draft big board, so he could easily be available to the Knicks when it's their turn to pick with the Clippers pick. Trey Jones will be a very intriguing prospect for the Knicks, especially if the Knicks don't draft a point guard with their lottery pick. Trey Jones can finally be the long-term starting point guard that the Knicks have needed for years now. Now, Jones' strengths start on the defensive end. Jones is a terrific on-ball defender. He's got quick feet to contain drives, and he's got quick hands and long arms to get steals and deflections. He can really play tough pressure defense on the opposing guard. He often gets into his man's chest, making him totally uncomfortable. Jones is just a huge pest on the defensive end of the floor. In fact, Jones' defense was so good for Duke this year that he was one of 4 finalists for the ACC Defensive Player of the Year award. Now, unfortunately, Jones didn't walk away with the award, but the fact that Jones was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year award makes it clear that he's an elite defender. It would be really huge for the Knicks to add a plus defender at the point guard position in the starting lineup. Now, along with that defense, Trey Jones could also space the floor. He really improved his shooting from his freshman year to his sophomore year. He started off shooting 26% from 3 his freshman year, and he improved that to 36% from 3 his sophomore year, which is pretty respectable. Now, along with shooting 36% from 3, he also shoots 77% from the free throw line, and free throw is actually a pretty good indicator of how good a shooter you are. Now, along with shooting and defense, Jones also has nice point guard skills. He's a pretty solid playmaker. He's very unselfish on offense and always looks to find the open man. He put up a solid 6 assists a game for Duke this year. Along with the passing, Jones is a scoring threat himself. He could penetrate and get into the lane easy and finish at the rim. Overall, drafting Jones would give the Knicks a quality point guard. Say the Knicks draft Anthony Edwards. I could easily envision a lineup of Edwards at the 2, RJ at the 3, and Jones at the 1. Jones can be a low-usage point guard who defends and spaces the floor, while RJ and Anthony Edwards do most of the scoring and playmaking. Jones and RJ also have some chemistry from playing in Duke last year, so that's also a plus. Jones is definitely one of the top prospects we should be targeting with the late first-round pick we own. Number 4. The number 4 prospect that the Knicks should be targeting with their late first-round pick is Tyler Bey. Tyler Bey is a 6'7" forward who played 3 years for Colorado. Now, Bey is ranked 35th on ESPN's big board, so he can easily be available to the Knicks with their late first-round pick. Bey's biggest strength is easily his defense. He's a great defender that can guard multiple positions thanks to his size and athleticism. Bey is a really good 1v1 defender. With his lateral quickness, strength, and long 7'2" wingspan, he's not an easy player to score on. Bey can guard forwards and switch on the point guards very easily. Once he adds strength, he'll be someone that'll be able to guard forwards at the next level. Bey is also a great shot blocker thanks to his timing and length. Despite only being 6'7", Bey averaged 1.2 blocks a game this year for Colorado. Bey's defensive prowess earned him the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year award this year. Tyler Bey will be a plus defender the second he steps on an NBA court, with the potential to become an elite defender once he gets a few years under his belt. Now, along with being a great defender, Bey also has some strengths on the offensive end. Now, he isn't going to be someone that's ever going to lead your team and be a number one option, but he's a very good complementary scorer. Bey is a really good cutter. Because he moves really well without the ball, he's always able to find really good looks at the basket. Bey is an explosive athlete. When he's at the basket, he often finishes with powerful dunks. He runs hard in transition and gets a lot of baskets on the fast break. Thanks to his insane hops, he's also a scorer as a lob threat. Bey also attacks the offensive glass really hard. He averaged an impressive 9 boards a game this year. Bey's biggest weakness is easily his lack of shooting. Bey has yet to develop a reliable outside shot. Bey actually did shoot 42% from 3 this year, but he did that on only 1.4 3-pointers a game, which is a very low sample size. But Bey did shoot 74% from the free throw line, which is a decent percentage, so his shot isn't necessarily broken. I do think that Bey can become a good 3-point shooter in the NBA, but it's going to take a few years for him to develop that shooting. I feel like a player like Tyler Bey could be the ideal player to put around a player like RJ Barrett. While RJ Barrett does most of the scoring and the playmaking, Bey can be a role player that does all the dirty work, like guarding the other team's best player and helping to clean the glass. See, in the NBA, you don't necessarily need everyone to be a shot creator. You got to have guys like Tyler Bey that are going to defend, that are going to rebound, that are going to do all the hard, dirty work. If Bey is available at the number 27 pick, the Knicks should really strongly consider taking him. Number 3. The number 3 prospect that the Knicks should be targeting with their late first-round pick is Jaylon Smith. Jaylon Smith is a power forward who played for Maryland this year. Now, Jaylon Smith is ranked number 30 on ESPN's draft board, so he can easily be available to the Knicks when it's our turn to pick with our late first-round pick. Smith brings good size for the power forward position at 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan. He averaged 15 points, almost 11 boards, and 2.4 blocks a game this year at 54% shooting. Jaylon Smith could potentially be an excellent fit on the Knicks due to his abilities as a stretch 4. Jaylon shot 37% from 3 this year on 3 attempts a game and 75% from the free throw line. With that shooting ability, Jaylon Smith could be the stretch 4 that the Knicks need alongside Mitchell Robinson and RJ Barrett. Now, if you watch my Randall video, I explained why Randall is a bad fit next to RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson. Part of that is Randall's inability to stretch the floor. Jaylon Smith could be the stretch 4 that the Knicks need. Now, along with being a really good shooter, Jaylon is a very efficient scorer. He's really good at scoring in the paint thanks to his size and athleticism. He runs the floor like a deer and often gets buckets in the fast break. Smith is a scoring threat in the pick and roll, as both a roll man and as a pick and pop shooting threat. Jaylon Smith can post up, and he can even put the ball on the floor and attack while facing up. Though he's not the type of player a team can run their offense through yet. Jaylon needs to improve his passing as he tends to be a turnover machine at times. Along with stretching the floor, Smith can provide rebounding and defense. He grabs almost 11 boards a game. He boxes out and relentlessly attacks the glass. Smith has potential to be a great defender at the next level. He's a very good weak side shot blocker. He knows how to use his length to alter shots, and he stays disciplined and doesn't go for up fakes. Just imagine how good the Knicks can be defensively as a team if they could put both Jaylon Smith and Mitchell Robinson together. Pairing both of these guys in the front court could give the Knicks one of the best interior defenses in the league. Between the two of them, it'll be a block party. If Jaylon is still available at number 27, the Knicks need to strongly consider taking him. Number 2. The number 2 prospect that the Knicks should be targeting with their late first-round pick is Aleksej Pokusevski. Now, you've probably never heard of Aleksej Pokusevski, but he's the highest upside player in this draft outside of all the lottery picks. Aleksej is ranked number 27 on ESPN's big board, so he's projected to be right there when it's the Knicks' turn to choose at number 27. Now, with Aleksej, you've got a Serbian 7-foot player with 3-point range and ball handling skills. He actually reminds me of another European 7-footer who became an all-star with the Knicks and then they ended up trading him for nothing. Well, drafting Alexei could finally be the decision that makes up for that huge mistake. What makes him such a high upside prospect is that he's an athletic, 7 foot tall player who has a lot of perimeter skills. He could shoot from deep. He could put the ball on the floor. He could take it to the rack and finish inside. He's a solid playmaker. But his contributions don't end on the offensive end. On defense, he's a great shot blocker, and he also likes to attack the glass and get boards. Now, Alexei played in Greece, and in just 22 minutes a game, he averaged almost 11 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, and 2 blocks a game. He really filled the stat sheet. That's really good production for a player in a minor role. With his insane skills and an agile 7 foot body, I could easily see him becoming a star big man at the next level like Porzingis. But if the Knicks draft him, they need to show some patience. He's a real thin 205 pounds, so he needs to put on weight when he enters the league. While he does have a good form and a high release, his shooting percentages weren't good this year. He only shot 40% from the field and 32% from three. His shooting numbers will improve in time. In order for him to succeed, the Knicks need to be invested in player development, meaning that he shouldn't get too many minutes in his rookie year and they should slowly bring him along. In just 3 years, if developed right, he could be a superstar for the Knicks at the power forward position. Similar to Jaylon Smith, between Alexei and Mitchell Robinson, the Knicks can have one of the best interior defense in the league if they pair the two together. Number one, the number one prospect that the Knicks should be targeting with their late first round pick is Jaden McDaniels. The reason I chose to put McDaniels at number one is the all-star potential. So McDaniels is a very interesting case. Before the college season started, McDaniels was actually a projected top 5 draft pick. But now he's actually projected to fall anywhere from the mid to late first round. So McDaniels is ranked 21st on ESPN's draft big board, but I've also seen him fall in the late first round on other draft big boards. Tankathon has him ranked at 29th. Bleacher Report has him ranked at 23rd. So there is a chance he could be available to the Knicks at number 27. McDaniels is a power forward who played for Washington this year. He's got excellent size and athleticism for the position at 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan. What makes McDaniels such a great prospect for me is his elite size for the position combined with his scoring ability. McDaniels can truly score on all 3 levels. He can knock down, catch, and shoot threes. McDaniels shot a decent 34% from 3 this year and a solid 76% from the free throw line. McDaniels can create his own shot in the mid-range thanks to his handles, and McDaniels can get to the basket and finish. With that elite size and scoring ability, it's easy to see how McDaniels can be a star at the next level. Now, some people have compared him to Kevin Durant. I don't think that's the best comparison because Kevin Durant is one of the top 25 players of all time. I think a more realistic comparison for Jaden McDaniels is someone like Brandon Ingram. Both Ingram and McDaniels have similar size and talent. If McDaniels maxes his potential, he should be able to become a 25 points per game player in the NBA. Now, while McDaniels can get buckets, it's important to know he's also got poor shot selection. While McDaniels can make those contested pull-up shots, he takes way too many of them. This is part of the reason he only shot 40% from the field. McDaniels seems like a huge boom or bust prospect. If he maxes his potential, he could be the next Brandon Ingram. But if he doesn't improve his weaknesses, he's just another Kevin Knox. Because he underperformed this year, McDaniels' draft stock took a hit. That's why there's a chance he could be available to the Knicks at 27. With the right coaching and player development, the Knicks can mold him into an all-star. Now, in the comment section below, tell me who you want the Knicks to draft with their late first-round pick. Also, tell me in the comments what you guys want to hear next. Do you want a follow-up video where I talk about what the Knicks should do with the 38th pick in the draft? Do you want me to talk about a potential Chris Paul trade? Let me know. Thanks for watching.